Being famous is tough, but getting rejected is even tougher, especially when the rejection comes from another celebrity. But it turns out that being famous and attractive doesn't always mean you'll get to go on a date with your biggest crush. Just ask these stars who've been candid about getting rejected by another celebrity. And as we all know, it must have been a tough pill to swallow. Wait until you see which of the Gossip Girl stars burned another celeb. Now let's get into 15 times famous actors/stars were rejected by other celebs. Drake and Nicki Minaj. Poor Drake. When he asked Nicki Minaj if she wanted some food, she seemed to be totally into it. He asked the bootylicious rapping queen, "You want food? You hungry?" And of course, Nicki said yes. Drake was pretty enthusiastic that she had agreed, so he went out and got her some food. But when he got to her door, she simply ripped the food out of his hand and shut the door in his face. Drake confessed to MTV that he had always had a major crush on Nicki. Sadly, she only saw him as a little brother. But since most women have great instincts, we're pretty sure that Nicki had always known he was into her. Perhaps this was her way of letting him know she wasn't interested in him. Message received. Niall Horan and Katy Perry. Katy Perry told Nova FM that singer Niall Horan is always following her around like a puppy. But can you blame him? Katy is ridiculously gorgeous. So he's tried time and time again to get her number, but she's shown zero interest in him. He might see her as a potential love interest, but she certainly doesn't feel the same way. She even told him she could be his mom. But that's just pretty crazy if you think about it. Niall is 25 years old and Katy is only 34. So the age gap isn't really that major. In fact, Horan laughed at her claims and insisted he only wants to be friends with her. But he's probably masking the fact that he did not enjoy getting rejected by Katy. Given how cute Niall is, we're sure some other elite will ask him out in no time. Chris Rock and Rihanna. Chris Rock wanted to be far away from the friend zone when he ran into Rihanna, but he wound up in the uncle zone instead. Now, Chris is a seriously funny comedian. Don't believe us? Watch a single one of his HBO specials, and you'll want to binge watch every stand-up show he's ever done. But maybe Rihanna wasn't really looking for a guy with a great sense of humor. So when he tried to put the moves on the singer, she rejected him so badly that it left a mark, so to speak. No matter what he did, she refused to see him as dating material. Now, most guys wouldn't publicly admit they got rejected, but Chris told Jimmy Fallon on The Tonight Show that she looked at him like he was one of her aunts. Quote, "She didn't even register me." That's gotta sting a little. Harry Styles and Lindsay Lohan. If Harry Styles knocked on your door, you'd probably recognize him right away, and then you'd probably faint from the shock. But Lindsay Lohan wasn't mesmerized one bit by Harry when he knocked on her hotel room door. In fact, she had no idea who he was. Now that's pretty unbelievable, but it really wasn't Lindsay's fault. Harry showed up in the middle of the night and knocked on her door, so she was probably too tired to go into facial recognition mode. He went ahead and introduced himself anyway. Being the good old forward Lindsay that we know and love, she told Harry he was very good looking and added, quote, "I'm going to bed, but it was nice to meet you." Hey, at least she told him he was cute, right? Justin Bieber and Jennifer Lawrence. Hunger Games actress Jennifer Lawrence might get a lot of heat from the Beliebers after you hear what she did. How could anyone turn down Justin Bieber's sexy hair and boyish good looks? Apparently, Jennifer can. In 2015, Justin did a radio interview where he claimed Jennifer was unbelievably cute. Now, we could definitely see these two getting together. But when Jennifer was a guest on Watch What Happens Live, a caller asked her if she'd ever dated Justin, and she replied by saying, "I'm gonna say a hard no." Well, that pretty much clears it up. But that's all right. Perhaps Justin would have never met his future wife, Hailey Baldwin. Justin Bieber and Rihanna. It's a wonder how the Biebs ever got married given his track record, but it seemed he couldn't stay in a relationship for very long. And then when he asked out Jennifer Lawrence, she told him no. But he's a persistent young man, and he knows there are tons of other fish in the sea. When he took a look at Rihanna, he knew right away that he had to try to make a move. So he asked her out. At that time, the Biebs was known for dating a lot. Perhaps he thought no one would dare say no to him. But boy, was he mistaken. Turns out that his boyish good looks were a little too boyish for Rihanna's taste. She took one look at him and told him he was way too young for her. Now, technically, there's only a 6-year difference. Maybe too young was Riri's polite way of telling the Biebs to bug off. Julianne Hough and Daniel Radcliffe. Dancing with the Stars champion Julianne Hough got some great moves on the dance floor, but she doesn't have the magic to win over a wizard's heart. In fact, she really stepped in it when she tried to win over none other than Daniel Radcliffe. She was a child at the time and an extra on a Harry Potter movie. She wrote Daniel a love note on Valentine's Day and even bought him a Valentino Beanie Baby. But she never heard back from him, and to this day, she gets embarrassed whenever she sees him. She'll even turn around and walk the other way. But why didn't Daniel respond? Maybe Lord Voldemort took Julianne's note and her gift before Daniel could see it. Emma Watson and Tom Felton. On Harry Potter, Emma Watson's character, Hermione, developed feelings for Ron, but she would have never considered dating the annoying Draco. Or would she? Well, it turns out that Hermione wouldn't, but Emma Watson was totally crushing on Tom Felton, who played Draco. She had a thing for Tom from the time she was 10 until the time she was 12. From her perspective, the boy had it all. He was a few years older than her, and he had a skateboard, which was everything she wanted back then. And it turns out that Tom knew Emma had a crush on him, but he told everyone that he saw her as more of a sister. Sadly, there was no spell in Hogwarts that could fix her broken heart. Aaron Carter and Hilary Duff. Hilary Duff and Aaron Carter are both talented musicians, and they do make a cute couple. In fact, they dated back in the year 2000. She was 13 at the time, but a lot changed after they broke up, like Hilary's feelings for Aaron. In 2014, Aaron went on Twitter to profess his love for her, even calling her the love of his life. But the feeling, well, let's just say it wasn't mutual. As a guest on Watch What Happens Live, Hilary told Andy Cohen that their relationship happened many years ago. She said the whole confession was a bit too uncomfortable for her. Being rejected face-to-face hurts like crazy, but having the Lizzie McGuire actress do it on live television must have left a huge scar in Aaron's heart. Fortunately, he's young, and he had plenty of time to date around. Rumor has it that he's already found the one. James McAvoy and Sophie Turner. James McAvoy and Game of Thrones actress Sophie Turner used to have a thing once upon a time, but in 2014, any hope of these two living happily ever after fizzled out. And unfortunately, things didn't end there. Most people know when it's time to move on, but James didn't, and he took a low blow at Sophie by calling her uninteresting on Twitter. But Sophie wasn't about to keep quiet. She went on Twitter and clapped back at James, putting him on blast. She told him he was acting really creepy and to simply stop texting her because she was done with him. So it looks like James learned a lesson the hard way. If you have something nasty to say to someone, don't use social media to do it. And if you play with fire, or in this case with Sophie Turner, you're bound to get burned. Selena Gomez and George Shelley. Selena Gomez is so adorable, especially that time when she learned that Union J singer George Shelley had an undying crush on her. So she recorded a cute video in June 2013 asking him to give her a call. She was obviously available at the time and totally over her Bieber fever, but it turns out that George never called, and Selena was crushed. So later that year, when she returned to London to promote her new album, she half-jokingly called George out during an interview with Capital FM, claiming she was offended he never called her. Looks like George picked the wrong woman to mess with, and he obviously learned that you can't crush on Selena and run. That's a lesson he should have learned from Justin Bieber. Taylor Swift and Bradley Cooper. When the Hangover actor Bradley Cooper called it quits with Zoe Saldana, Taylor Swift tried to fill the void in his heart. And you can't blame the girl for trying. Bradley is ridiculously good looking. Who wouldn't want to go on a couple dates with a hunky actor? So she asked Jennifer Lawrence to introduce her to Bradley. But Taylor and her exes don't always end on a happy note. And when they leave, the pop star tends to write a breakup song about them that doesn't always make them look good. Clearly, Brad wasn't interested in becoming a notch on the singer's belt, so he said no. But he used the excuse that she was way too young for him and that he preferred someone his own age. Donald Trump and Salma Hayek. As a guest on The Daily Show with Trevor Noah, the beautiful actress recalled a time when she met Donald Trump during the 90s. He was supposedly being really nice to her and her boyfriend. He even asked for both of their numbers, which is kind of weird, right? But he was only interested in Salma, and he called her repeatedly to ask her out on a date, but she reminded him that she was dating someone else. He had even met the guy. Salma claims that Trump told her that her boyfriend wasn't good enough for her. Clearly, she didn't see it that way, so she turned the future president down. Maybe if she'd said yes, she would have become the First Lady of the United States. States. Oh, and in case you were wondering, Trump never called Selma's boyfriend. What a surprise. John Mayer and Sandra Bullock. Rumor has it that the musician John Mayer has a thing for famous women. In fact, John has dated tons of A-list celebrities like Katy Perry, Taylor Swift, and Jennifer Aniston. And he undoubtedly has a list of women he'd like to be with, like Kim Kardashian. We're sure Kanye might have an issue with that. Fortunately, there are plenty of fish in the sea, and John had his eyes set on Sandra Bullock. Now, he wasn't delusional. He knew he wasn't going to be in a long-term commitment with her, but he allegedly offered to have a friends with benefits type of arrangement. The Miss Congeniality star wasn't interested in that because she wanted a serious relationship with someone. That said, she was quite flattered by the indecent proposal. Aziz Ansari and Blake Lively. Parks and Recreation actor Aziz Ansari had a big old crush on Blake Lively. The two allegedly shared an inside joke which he texted her about, but she didn't reply back. He also told Howard Stern that he sent her another message saying that they should go grab something to eat next time he was in town. But poor Aziz ended up eating his meals all by himself. The last text he supposedly sent her was on December 17, 2011. Only this time he didn't ask her out. He just texted happy holidays. Still, Blake didn't respond back. He obviously took the hint once Blake married the uber-gorgeous actor Ryan Reynolds. Do you think these celebs should have been a little nicer to their fellow celebs? Do you think any of them would have been a good couple if they gave the others a chance? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to The Taco.